Welcome into another Soccer Down here 1v1. Jason Longshore here, catching up with one of my favorite brands in lower division soccer in the United States, the Tri-Cities Otters. David Strickland taking the time to hang out with us. David, thanks for the time today.
Appreciate being on the show. We enjoy your show.
Thanks for listening. We definitely appreciate it. And I thought it was worthy to check in on you guys after the awards at the USL off-season meetings. You guys won an award for Best New Revenue Generating Idea for the Adopt An Otter program. I got to hear about this program because lower division soccer, and I've been in that boat in the past, revenue generating ideas are always at a premium. Tell me about this program.
This program, as many soccer ideas, came up over a beer and a bev nap. So my wife actually came up with the idea, and one of our partners' wives. And the idea came up with, we were talking about how do we connect these guys with the community while they're in, and how do we connect the community with this group of guys? So the term came up, we need to adopt one of them in theory. So then the idea started spawning, that they came up with, what we need to do is have a family adopt one of them and then develop a plan for them to be connected. And so here's how it worked out, is a family would pay $200 and they would identify which player they want to adopt. And by the way, we had every player adopted in our program quickly. Awesome. It went fast. So in return, their family got an Otters jersey with that player's name on the back of it. And the player loved that, number one, to see people wearing their name on the jersey. The player filled out a sheet of their favorites, what they liked movie-wise, food-wise, just music. And what the family agreed to do was at least twice a month, either take the player to eat or invite him over to the house to have dinner. Which, we set that as a minimum, but everybody far exceeded the minimum. And then before every home game, the player, when they came into the locker room to get ready for the match, their families would leave them a small bucket of their favorites, whatever they had listed on there. So every player, when they came in, they had items waiting on them. And what we found was the connection between the player and the community grew so much. And here's the truth. Just Thanksgiving, 3 players were back in town here having Thanksgiving with their family. They're international players who came from their school and stayed here with that family during that time.
Oh, wow.
So, they've kind of developed a lifelong friendship with them. And, obviously most of these families had young kids that are involved in soccer also. So we were able to generate that revenue idea to, for a family to take in. They put money into the Otters, which helped us generate revenue. But the player also in return, they were taken in because we house all our players. They're not staying with host families.
Right.
So it took them another step to be able to be a part of the community. And, this will be a summer here that they'll never forget, not only on the soccer side, but on the life side where these people took them in and just cared for them all summer.
It's in a summer that I think those families won't forget either. And that's what's so cool about this. I mean, the revenue generating ideas to sustain clubs at this level are critical, but this is even, more impactful than just the dollars that come in from it. You build that connection with the community, and it feels like it's a program that other clubs can replicate, but for you guys, it creates momentum going forward.
It really does. A lot of these families on their social media would, that's my player. They put ownership on that player. And that was a lot of fun to see that's my player. And the player would say, that's my family. So it created a whole new environment that we really enjoyed.
That's so cool. I love these types of stories. And, when we focus in on the lower divisions, sustainability is always the thing we come back to. You guys have had a lot of sustainability, and built the program over the years. How difficult is it day to day to keep this program going and growing it?
It's as you know, in the lower league, sponsorships are tough. Mm-hmm. They're hard to come by. So coming up with creative ideas are really important. And I'll tell you, on this last year, sponsorships were down, which we had to start thinking of other ideas to help generate some revenue, and which we are continuing doing that. But we've got a good run in the sponsorship aspect of this year. Some of the changes we're going to move towards to help us sustainable wise is we're moving to another venue. I had to get rid of the purist idea of playing in a stadium. It was a high school football stadium, but it was new and it was nice. We're transitioning in with the local minor league baseball team and utilizing their park, and we're utilizing cross marketing together because we both need it. But they also have built in to their stadium, a beer perch. They've got catering set in. So it takes us to a whole different level. And now our sponsorships, when we're talking to them, the numbers that we're talking about are with both teams. So the volume of people coming through will give us a little bit more of an upper leg to get new sponsorships in and see the value of it. Plus, we've had to change our thinking into the soccer game is just what's going on, and changing it to the community event that we're bringing people together in the community. So it's the direction that we've gone to improve, relationships with sponsors to see it. It's not the soccer game. It's the community coming together to enjoy time together, because we have stuff for kids, for families, for the college kids that want to come, for the people who just want to have a beer and a hot dog. It's all set up now as a great event.
We keep coming back to community, and it's such a critical part of growing the game, whether you're a Major League Soccer team or you're a USL League 2 team. Also partnerships, and that sounds like something that you guys really maximize is the value of your partnerships. This new one in a new stadium that's opening up so many more doors, that just is vital to clubs that I think sometimes have the idea, like you said, of kind of going on your own, having a purist idea. Being able to partner and open your mind up a little bit can create new opportunities.
It really can. And our team in our city is one of those that's, you hear it in the national news where they're trying to, chop off some minor league teams. So our community is one of those that's picked to do that. So, they see the value of us both coming together. We're both minor league teams, but we both have an impact in a community of, our city's about 70,000. But you take a 30-mile radius and we're at 250,000. So, we have a pretty good impact of a sporting environment that can bring people together in the community to enjoy, life. There's two things that brings people together: sport and music. Those are two things in life that bring people together.
Absolutely.
And where we play now, our city has really gone towards marketing in itself as an outdoor city. They've created this 6 mile, it's called Tweetsy Trail, what used to be the old railroad that they took out. Now it's a running, biking trail that people can go on walking, and it goes through all these really cool areas. And then they've also created a biking course up in a mountain that's right beside us. So we're all together right there. So we fit the theme of what's going on here.
That's a perfect fit. It sounds very similar to a project here in Atlanta called the Beltline that took an old railroad track and turned it into multi-purpose for people to be active and be on it. And it's brought a lot of connection points. Looking at the growth in USL League 2 and your time in the league, this will be year 5 for the Otters coming into 2020. How much deeper has the competition gotten in your region and your division?
Our division is exceptionally, number one, it's exceptionally balanced and exceptionally talented. When we started out, there was some distance between teams. You had, at that time, the Tormentas were exceptionally strong. were, and there were some unbalanced games to where now our group, you just never know. I mean, I'm not equating the level of play. I'm equating to when you watch a Premier League game on a Saturday, you've got somebody playing Norwich where you never know who's going to win that game. Because it's the same in our division, that the quality and the standard of play is really balanced. It's very good. Over the 5 years, we can look back and we've probably got 15 players that went on and played pro. So, in the USL talks about 80% of all players going to the MLS have come through this league. And you can see it every day where these are the kids of the future.
The other thing I've noticed about this past season for you is you had a lot of players who went on and had really successful college seasons and played deep into the postseason. How important is that as you start to prepare for 2020 and you start recruiting talent for the roster?
It's very important because when we're talking with players, one of the things is a lot of these players that we had last year were rising seniors, at Wingate, at Lynn, at PBA, at the final of the D2 final. Freddie Tracy was one of our players that scored a brace there to win it for him. So, it shows a level that our quality is good. We really have intense training sessions. We keep it on a pro environment. We are full on 7 days a week between games, training, recovery, weightlifting, trying to keep these guys in a professional mode. One of the things I always say to coaches, college coaches that we deal with, and some of the teams we've been dealing with for years know this. We want to send the player back to you, number one, healthy, and number two, better than when he left. Because he's been in an environment that he has to fight for time, he has to be quality, and he has to be disciplined to be able to do it. So he's starting to learn his craft at the next level. But for us as an organization, we had all those playoff games on, watching them, cheering those guys on, and we're sending them messages and they're sending them back to us how excited they are. So, those are guys that are part of our family. Hey, here's an example this morning. 7:15 this morning, a text comes into me and it says, "Hey, Dave, I'm driving through Johnson City right now on my way back to Kansas." And it was Cole McLagan, who plays for Furman, who had an amazing season this season. He came in for us, first kid from Furman that came in for us this past year. And he will be playing at the next level. I mean, he's just a kid that is fantastic. But I think that just shows, the relationship that we've developed with these kids that, they were players of ours. They'll be Otters for life, but they're relationships for life now.
What are some of the next steps for the Tri-Cities Otters as you look at 2020 and beyond?
Next steps are, we've made this transition to a new stadium or a different venue because we were missing part of the event environment in the other venue that we were at. Some of the next steps are getting some multi-year sponsorship deals. We're really in a lot of conversations. We would love to build an environment to be able to play and train in. Now, that's a 5-year, 10-year plan. We are in the talks right now of developing our youth organization to get it going because we're one of them that's been a standalone group. Mm-hmm. And now we're working on tucking underneath us a youth organization that goes along with the USL Academy so that we start promoting the path to pro through our academy aspect. That is 12 to 24 months out that we'll have that up and going. The Otters brand in our area is well known in the soccer environment. So those are the future plans for us. We're heavy into recruiting like every other team is, to bring in quality players that not only on the field but off the field so that we can, each year we've set new standards and bars as far as our level of play in the league. And our goal is we've got to hit that number one spot. We've got to hit that number one spot and make it to the playoffs. So that is a internal goal as a squad. And then as a 30,000 foot view, you're looking at developing the academy, expanding on into our own training area, because we're still utilizing city areas, and everybody who does that knows the struggles and pains that go with that.
Right.
So we're working hard on that. Well, we will end up bringing in more partners into the group to expand some of that, to expand some of the financial reach of it also.
Excited to have Asheville City join the league for next season.
Yes, very much so. Asheville City, when they were in the NPSL, and we've done a preseason game. It's called Over the Mountain game, and we have a trophy that's been going on for, this will be year number 5 that we do it preseason. It's really just it's a brand kickoff for both of us is what it is. Because the last couple of seasons we've done it, we've only had both teams maybe had 20 or 25% of your team in, your actual team. So you're taking a lot of local players and you go play. It's a great time, a great day. We have the trophy. It's fun to win. But, I'm glad that Ryan over in Asheville and his group have moved in. They do a good job. Man, they have a great following. If you've not been to a game over there, it's worth going to. They do a good job. They have a great atmosphere. But he's not in our actual division. He's in the Deep South. So we're in the same conference, but not together.
He's going to have to continue that preseason trophy match then, right?
We've got it coming May 9th. It is booked and ready to go.
That's awesome. I love to hear about this growth. I love to hear about all the roots that you guys are putting down, because it's such an important part, and it's difficult. You get to this stage and you're able to start looking at that 30,000 foot view and academies and such. With USL getting deeper into the academy game, was that something that kind of prodded you guys to get on board with that as well, or was it something that was in the plans all along?
It's been in the plan since year 2. That we need to move forward. USL brought in a gentleman from Sporting KC, Liam McConnell, and he is, headlining that. I met Liam when I was actually doing it's called a senior A license. I was in the first class of that for U.S. Soccer, and he was serving out there, and we developed a relationship. So when he dropped into USL, he reached out to me, said, "Hey, this is what we're doing." And I said, man, perfect timing, because this is what, working together with him to get that going. It was part of our meetings, our winter meetings last week about the academy aspect. And it's a project that's evolving day to day. So it doesn't have its full definition of what it's going to look like, but it's a process that's in the works.
Finishing up with David Strickland of the Tri-Cities Otters, I want to end with a question that kind of plays off of that. How have you seen the soccer culture and soccer scene change since the Tri-Cities Otters launched?
It's amazing on our level, the USL 2 level, the growth that's going on, the amount of teams that are dropping in. It's also been amazing to watch the amount of teams that have dropped out. We had NPSL friends in Knoxville that disappeared. Mm-hmm. But you look, and I'm just going to take the state of Tennessee. You look at Tennessee now, and you've got the Otters in East Tennessee. In Chattanooga, you've got a USL 1 team. You got an NPSL team. You've got Nashville with the MLS team, and you've got Memphis. And in those 5 years, it's absolutely exploded the growth. At a grassroots level in our area, there are so many kids that play, and they love the game. And it's just becoming everybody you meet, their kids play soccer now. And I think we've had a part of that in our area, along with all the moms, dads, and coaches who spent all this time, and referees who spend all this time volunteering to help get this up and going. So it's exciting. I mean, there is so much momentum going forward for U.S. soccer in every community, in the regions, and we're seeing it on the national level also. So I am just absolutely excited. What an industry to be involved in, because it is absolutely blowing up right now.
It's an exciting time, and that pathway to pro that is growing and growing and growing. You guys are a huge part of it in an area that you've got pro teams all surrounding you in a lot of different ways. And I think we're going to see more kids who come through your program, whether it's Academy, whether it's USL League 2, that go on and put on that pro shirt and represent the Otters at the next level. It's exciting times for sure.
I completely agree. And it's exciting for us to know, our goal is to help a kid get path to pro. That is our goal. And when we see them slip on that jersey that they've got a pro contract with, there's nothing more fulfilling to know that you had a piece in that kid's life to get to the next level, because that's what our mission is.
Definitely one that is needed, and we're going to continue to see it grow over the years. David Strickland, Tri-Cities Otters, looking forward to seeing you guys on the field in USL League 2, and might have to try to make it up for the trophy match with Asheville. That might be a fun one.
You ought to come up for that. That would be exciting. It's a fun time. The fans are great, and we just have a good time with it. And the thing about it is, now we're in year 5. It has created a derby feel. I mean, people are getting after it. They really want to win this trophy. That the only thing it means is pride. And it's fun to be involved in it.
That is awesome. David, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. We'll check in again soon.
All right, man. We'll chat soon. See you.
Thanks.